Today is my work-iversary with my current company, and it's making me reflect on the unexpected journey of how I got into product design. From the time I learned about UX, UI, and product design to the day I got a job as a designer was exactly 3 months. Mine is an odd story. I didn't go to school for design. I didn't even do a boot camp. And prior to learning about design, I was completely uninterested in tech. Instead, I had written a poetry book and was working as a social media manager in Costa Rica. Before I get into this story, I want to say welcome to my channel. I'm Jen, and I talk about all things from career to design. If you are interested in any of those topics, it would help me out so much if you would take a second and like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and then drop a comment at the end. Okay, so let's go back in time. Nearly a decade ago, in 2013, I was in university doing a general arts degree, and to pay for that degree that I still have never used, I worked part-time in the kitchen at Google. However, the hours were brutal and the pay was not great, but all of that could be overlooked because I got free food. Googlers got elaborate buffets. On top of that, they had a game room, nap pods, and even a rock climbing gym. From the kitchen, I looked out. I wondered, what would it be like to be a Googler? And I just assumed I would have to understand code, and that's where my dreams of working in tech died. Instead, I wanted to travel and to find financial success through creating books or paintings, and I did the traveling part. I even published my own poetry book called These Transitional Words. But making it as an artist is hard, and I tried to sell and market my poetry book, but it just did not take off. But that led me down a path of being forced to learn how to digitalize my sketches. The entire poetry book was filled with drawings, and I didn't have the money to hire a graphic designer. So I went on YouTube and I learned how to do it. Following the very mild success of my book, I went to Costa Rica and began working as a social media manager in Tamarindo. At this point, I was just trying to hustle. I worked as a freelance writer, a graphic designer, and I did that until the world shut down in 2020 and I had to come back to Canada. And I took yet another low-paying marketing and writing job. It was one of the worst jobs I have ever done. My mood could really only be described as utterly defeated. I had tried a lot of things and nothing was working out. All of that led me to one fateful summer day. Even though my career opportunities at that moment were melting away faster than my gelato, I was completely ignoring the fact that I had no idea what to do. Over tacos, my boyfriend casually asked, "Why aren't you interested in user experience or interface design?" I don't know why that tiny comment made such a large impact. I think I had just been ready for a tangible career opportunity for a long time. I left that conversation with the motivation of Rocky, and after learning what user interface and design was, and more importantly, its earning potential, I was completely sold on joining the tech force. But there is a big difference between wanting to do something and actually following through with it. For 1 month after, I didn't do anything. I watched a few YouTube videos here and there. Mainly, I just assumed designing apps would be so easy because I could already draw and paint. Unfortunately for me, those are not transferable skills. Without any real idea of what I was doing, I started applying for roles. And shockingly, I was brutally rejected. At this point, I realized I might be the common denominator in all of my failures. I decided to try and take matters into my own hands. The skills I already had were writing, graphic design, and marketing, and I knew how to get contracts through Upwork. So I started getting really serious about doing UI challenges and studying. I spent hours a day applying for contracts, and one day I heard back from a travel startup that was looking for a travel writer and designer. I ended up getting the role, and I worked there for 9 months. This gave me a chance to grow as a designer. It generally gave me a lot more confidence, which helped me do other side contracts. By the time I was ready to leave, I had built up a solid portfolio which helped me land a decently high-paying job as a product designer. And today is my 1-year work-iversary at that company, which made me take time to look back and reflect on where I was. A decade ago, I worked as a line cook for Google, and as fate would have it, the company I work for now is located in the building that Google used to be in. The exact spot where I worked in the kitchen and wondered how anyone would have the lifestyle of a tech worker is now where I go to map out design flows on whiteboards. It's been a year, And that still makes me think every single time I'm in the office. What would my younger self, who was working multiple jobs just to pay for rent, think of my life now? I never would have imagined myself working in tech or believed that I'd get paid to do a mix of art and psychology. But somehow it happened, and it is completely attainable for anyone who is interested in that path. The way I presented this story makes tech and design work sound so simple, but that first year of being a designer was hard. I worked and studied a lot. If you're interested in this career path, I have videos about the fundamentals of becoming a UX designer, which will map out your options of education, the skills you should learn, and even some tips on creating your portfolio. I hope that you enjoyed my story, and write in the comments if you are interested in working in tech. Or if you're already in tech, how did you get started? Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.